Hey everybody, John the Other here, obviously. And I'm going to be talking about the Brent Kavanaugh circus and grotesque spectacle. For those of you who don't know, Kavanaugh is a judge appointed to the U.S. Supreme Court by Donald Trump, whose confirmation has been challenged by the Democrats on the basis of a rape accusation against Kavanaugh, which allegedly happened over 35 years ago at a party when Kavanaugh was 17 years old. So we will start with Christine Blasey Ford. She's the one who accused Kavanaugh of raping her when she was 15 in 1982 at a house party, an act which was apparently observed by Kavanaugh's friend, a man named Mark Judge, at the time. Judge reported that he had no memory of such an event, either of the party or of the assault that allegedly happened at it. Brent Kavanaugh also claims he has no memory of the attack or any participation in it, vigorously denying that he would ever do any such thing. And I believe Brent Kavanaugh and Mark Judge. I think they are telling the truth, that the first, that they don't remember any such assault, and second, they did not participate in any such assault. But I also believe Christine Blasey Ford when she says that sometime in 1982 she was subject to an attempted rape and that she has suffered a lifelong trauma as a result of that. I think she's telling the truth. And that her memory of the attempted rape is as truthful as it could be hoped for, considering that it was 35 or maybe 36 years ago. I even believe the part about it being Brent Kavanaugh, or at least I believe it's possible that it was him, or maybe someone else that she remembers 35 years later as being him. I don't think she's lying, that's the point. And you might think I've contradicted myself here, that I don't think Kavanaugh is lying. I also don't think Christine Blasey Ford is lying. Well, I think it's reasonable to understand that in high school, Kavanaugh was a teenage rich kid and, on occasion, acted like a jackoff. And to all the accounts that I've heard about the teenage jackoff rich kid Brent Kavanaugh, is that his 30-year career as a legal clerk, a lawyer, and as a judge is that he demonstrated a persistently admirable and upstanding character during that 30-year career. See, people have this funny habit of growing up and changing as they mature. In fact, I think it's likely that if he is the one that Blasey Ford remembers terrorizing her, that he actually had no idea she thought he was a serious threat. If we believe that Brent Kavanaugh does not remember this alleged incident, then he probably was jackassing around completely unaware of the way a 15-year-old girl perceived the situation. And I'll say again, I believe Christine Blasey Ford is probably telling the truth as she experienced it, with the caution that her memory is of events which occurred 33 years ago and are therefore fuzzy. Which brings me to the reason for this video today. The public spectacle right now being played out in what passes for news is ugly, to say the least. Brent Kavanaugh being forced to explain why a halfway remembered sexual misadventure from 1982 can wipe out the reputation for decency that he has worked 30 years to build. It is not a fantasy to imagine that the media circus surrounding Kavanaugh's nomination has a purpose, cynically using Christine Blasey Ford and cynically destroying the life of an obviously decent guy with a 30-year history to prove it, all in the cynical service of political maneuvering by the Democratic Party. Senator Lindsey Graham on Thursday, September 22nd, at the Supreme Court nomination hearing said to the Democratic Party members at the hearing, "If you wanted an FBI investigation, you could have come to us.
If you wanted an FBI investigation, you could have come to us. What you want to do is destroy this guy's life, hold this seat open, and hope you win in 2020. You've said that."
Graham went on to say, "Boy, all you want is power. God, I hope you never get it. I hope the American people can see through this sham."
Boy, y'all want power. God, I hope you never get it. I hope the American people can see through this sham, that you knew about it and you held it. You had no intention of protecting Dr. Ford. None.
Now, when he says knew about it, what he's talking about is the Democratic Party knew about this accusation at least 20 days before the hearing of nomination for Kavanaugh. Then, addressing Mr. Kavanaugh, Lindsey Graham said, "She is as much of a victim as you are."
She's as much of a victim as you are. God, I hate to say it because these have been my friends. But let me tell you, when it comes to this, you're looking for a fair process? You came to the wrong town at the wrong time, my friend.
And I think for many of us, Senator Graham is giving voice to how a lot of the general public feel about these accusations and the grotesque circus surrounding them. Graham also said, "To my Republican colleagues, if you vote no on this nomination, you are legitimizing the most despicable thing I've seen in my time in politics." And maybe Senator Graham was exaggerating when he said the current circus is the most despicable thing he's ever seen. It is arguably the most despicable thing that I can recall seeing in politics, and I don't think I'm alone in that impression. Which makes reactions like the one I'm about to read to you more disturbing than they would otherwise be. The comedian Patton Oswalt, on the same day that Lindsey Graham made his comments, posted the following reply on Twitter. Now, spelled with 12 of the letter U in the first word. I hope you're going to forgive my use of profanity. Here it is. Fuck you, Lindsey Graham, South Carolina. Fuck you, period. Fuck you, comma, Lindsey, period. Hey, comma, Lindsey, exclamation. Lindsey, comma, over here, exclamation. Hey, man, exclamation. Fuck you, and then with no spaces, fuck you, and then in all capitals, fuck you, Lindsey Graham. It has received over 10,000 retweets and got over 61,000 likes on Twitter in the past 2 days. So, Patton Oswalt is not just some lone nutter shouting at the shrubberies in the park. He's tapping into something a lot of the people feel. I don't think it's excessive to describe his tweet, which he has not taken down, as pure unhinged apoplectic hatred. This from a guy whose job as a professional comedian is to understand the human condition and, I guess, entertain people. Bill Maher, for his part, attacked Senator Graham for defending Kavanaugh, claiming Senator Graham needs his dead boyfriend, which was a reference to the recently deceased Senator John McCain. That's not ugly at all. And this public tendency to indulge in performed hatred as a public virtue, and to theatrically dehumanize somebody rather than allowing reasoned disagreement to be articulated, seems now to be the rising fashion. The progressive media project to explicitly dehumanize people, to destroy the lives of individuals as if it's the righting of some long-standing cosmic injustice, is apparently now noble. At least dehumanizing members of the correct demographic as a public object lesson to anyone else who might imagine that they're people deserving basic humanity or, civil rights. That appears now to be virtuous in the ethic of the progressive mainstream. And how dare Lindsey Graham point out the obvious fact that Christine Blasey Ford's understandably hazy memory of a 36-year-old possible assault with no reliable corroborating evidence is, in fact, not sound grounds to burn a man at the stake who has a 30-year record of an upstanding conduct. How dare Lindsey Graham be outraged at the political expedient lynching of somebody for mere democratic political points? And of course, aside from finding the Kavanaugh spectacle to be a grotesque display of the very worst qualities of the mob, I am also troubled by the idea that the sad fiasco we are seeing becomes the new normal. Because if it does, what we won't have anymore is a functional society. We will have only hatred between men and women, between any differing political points of view. If I was a person on the political left, today is the day that I would be parting company from that philosophy. Thanks very much for listening, and, as always, have a lovely day.